All right, everybody. How y'all doing? It's me again, Daniel, the conservative Papi. I have a returning guest on the show today. We're going to go over some current events and analyze some of those current events. And our new engineer, Thomas Lightfoot, the author of our awesome bumper, is going to go ahead and hit the music, buddy.
Mi gente, from Bayamón, Puerto Rico, via Dallas, Texas, it's your boy, the conservative Papi.
Thank you again for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Conservative Papi, and follow us on our newest platform, iTunes. Go find us on iTunes at Conservative Papi Podcast. Leave a 5-star review if you enjoy the content. Leave a comment. Show us your love. I have via Skype today my good friend, the host of the Caramel Conservative Podcast, Ed Delgado. How are you doing, Ed?
I am doing outstanding today, man. Doing a beautiful day out here. Had a beautiful weekend, holiday weekend, man. How you guys doing out there?
Well, you know, I'm in the hipster part of town recording with Thomas. So we're here hanging out. We had some tacos. We had a little banter before the show, and we're just here kind of hanging out with you now. So, my brother, I got some 3 articles that I want to go over with you today. But before we get into those articles, I want you to tell the Conservative Papi audience how they can find you.
All right. Well, just like they find you, you can find us here, the Caramel Conservative. You go to our website, www.thecaramelconservative.com. You'll find links to the Facebook page, a Twitter page. You have to find me on Instagram because there's no link on there yet. But you'll be able to get all the past podcasts, the blogs, which I got some new stuff coming out here soon. You'll be able to check all that stuff out. And also, friends of the show, I got links to your podcast and a few others. So, yeah, that's where you can find me. You can find me, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Then, of course, if you guys want to give me a shout-out by email, the email's on there. So, by all means, please do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ed. So, I think we're going to go ahead and start off with this article I was reading today from the Washington Post, or the Washington Compost, as some people call it.
Mm-hmm.
Headline reads, Andrew Jackson was called the Indian killer. Trump honored Navajo in front of his portrait in the White House. Reading this article, they made a bunch of nothing out of something that should have been honoring World War II veterans, which were the Navajo code talkers back during World War II, some of the surviving guys.
Right.
Why does the left in this country always want to make everything about race when the president is honestly doing something very, very honorable for these veterans that served not only their people, but this country?
Well, you know, with the left, everything's got to be about race. Everything's about race. Everything's politicized. And that's kind of the frightening and scary part, is that they have controlled the narrative. And when I say the narrative, I don't mean just, you know, the storyline, but they control the language. I mean, you just look at words that they use. Ally, racist, bigot. And they're the first ones to throw it out. And from my perspective, it's a lot of projection. This is a lot of what they do. So they like to project that on everybody else. Like Trump could have been doing the greatest thing in the world. He could have solved world peace and hunger, and he could have had a white guy come out there with him, and that would all of a sudden be racist because he didn't have a black guy. You know, everything's got to be about race with them because, well, Republicans can't do anything good. The only reason that they tolerate Republicans and conservatives is because they need an enemy. They need someone to vilify.
See, while reading this article, and I'm going to kind of quote this tweet from April D. Ryan. I'm assuming she's some sort of national director of Congress for American Indians. She says, a lot of questions about the Native American White House event. Why did they pick the portrait of Andrew Jackson as the backdrop? Jackson was noted for his forced removal of Native Americans. Truth in history. While she's partially correct, she's also completely misunderstanding what President Trump is trying to do. Yes.
Right.
Andrew Jackson was a racist mother even back for his day for trying to take away some of these natives' land. I think we can all agree with that. Hindsight's always 20/20, and we try not to judge people in today's standards, and we just try to judge people in their standards of their time. At least I honestly try to.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You know, they're trying to equate what we would consider moral or whatever in our time, 2017, back to the mid-1800s. And you really can't apply the two standards. You know, it's apples and oranges. You know, and furthermore, why isn't the left claiming Andrew Jackson as one of their own? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He was a Democrat.
Yes, you're 100% correct. On top of that, wasn't this the era of the Manifest Destiny where we're trying to conquer the rest of the continental U.S.? So, you know, we were talking about this last night where we have to look at historical events for what they are. Try not to read too much into them, learn from them, but keep them honest, right? We see historical figures like Andrew Jackson, who is on our $20 bill, for Christ's sakes, right? He helped expand this country to what it is today. Now, did he do it in the most nice way? Probably not. But war isn't nice.
Well, that's the other thing that the left completely decide that they want to overlook. You know, the idea of, you know, conquest and creating something. There's been no people on the face of this earth, not a one, that has ever expanded or created territory, had their own little nation state without having to step on or conquer some other peoples. I mean, it's just, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's part of the human condition. It's just these days we're a lot more efficient about doing things like that and a lot less brutal as well.
100%, 100%. So, moving on, we have a local Texas story, which I think you're going to enjoy. It brings out more of my libertarian side. Marijuana.com released an article today, which I found very interesting. Headline reads, Texas rolls out first CBD sales by end of year. Your thoughts on legalization of marijuana products in Texas, my friend?
You know, and I would need to see that article because I know they're trying to do something like that here in Wisconsin too with medical marijuana. But here's my overall blanket question when it comes to whether it be Texas, Colorado, California, wherever. Why is it everybody that pushes for marijuana legalization also wants to ban cigarettes? And the follow-up question to that is, why is it that everybody that wants to push for medical marijuana, which I actually don't have a problem with, especially when you look at some of the benefits when you vaporize it, put it in pill form, there's any number of ways of doing it. But why is it that those same people are also the ones that want to recreationally have it? It's either a medicine or it's not. You know, so I mean, it to me, it's kind of a mixed bag because I agree with a lot of people, like you said, more on the libertarian side, was like, you know what, you want to do what you want to do, go right, go nuts. But why add one more vice to be so readily available? You know what I mean?
Here's my thing, and this is something I really do agree with what's going on, at least in the marijuana community. The hemp plant and all of its properties, you know, from CBD to the HTC, it's so far since the legalization in California, Oregon, and Colorado, there has been medical justification for the use of the plant. Now, take that aside. It is cheaper to grow. It is stronger than redwood when you use it in a fiber form, like hemp clothing or whatnot. So there's two sides. You know, they kill themselves. The marijuana activists kill themselves when they try to go after tobacco. They just do. Tobacco's been around for a long time. There's always going to be somebody smoking tobacco, just like there's always going to be somebody smoking crack. That's just kind of the way the world is. I mean, unfortunately. But
right.
Let's look at things, you know, in an objective kind of way. If states like Texas do go a little more progressive in that way, and they do embrace, the tax dollars that can come of CBD sales, hemp sales, and truly revolutionize the marketplace into, accepting, marijuana products. That's just good for business. You'd have to look at it from a business standpoint. It's good for business because
yes,
it's good for business. I don't know if it's good for law enforcement, but it's good for business because now there's more options. Now there's more things that we can, sell to the public and give them options as far as, hey, guess what? We're gonna build a house, but it doesn't have to be made out of wood. It could be made out of hemp, which is stronger, more durable, less expensive.
Yes and no, and I agree with everything you just said about all the products that you can make with it, its versatility, and all that other stuff. Here's the problem when they talk about wanting to legalize it for recreational use or even medically for that matter. The problem is you take a look at California and Colorado in particular. Why is it all of a sudden everybody's got glaucoma? Everybody needs a little bit of weed for their eyes. You got all these people that are going to these bum doctors that are getting all these fake scripts. And then there's another, I think, bigger issue at hand. That's great. The state wants to legalize it. Fine. What about federal law? Because we do have that federalism principle, So, you can't have the states running amok. If there's a federal law that says, that's great, you can want it to be legal all you want, but it's still federally illegal. You can't reconcile the two unless, you get the federal government on board and say, you know what, every state, you guys decide what you're going to do. That's on you. And then to me, I'm going to throw one more issue to make it even more convoluted, the taxation issue. How about we just pull government out of the whole issue? If you're going to legalize it, then legalize it. But don't tax the hell out of it because all you're going to do in Colorado is a prime example of this. Drug dealers, the guy, Johnny Joe Blow down the street there, he's still slanging it because he's selling it cheaper than the dispensaries are selling it for.
Yeah.
So there's still all those issues that they have yet to address.
Okay, so I agree with you, but I'm going to push back and say, what about I want to say it's the 14th Amendment where they took away, Senate appointing to general election. Wouldn't this kind of fall under that where if more and more states continue to pass these laws, federal law has to eventually change?
But generally it was federal law. Sorry, Bob.
It's all good. Go for it.
But, you have to have, because federal law ended up changing first, and then state law ended up going along with that to make it, make it all uniform. What I'm saying is, change it at the federal level first, and then let the states go, and then let's, really go back to the basics. You see basketball players and baseball players and everybody in sports, I guess, get back to the fundamentals. Yeah, you're right. Let's go back 10th Amendment, states' rights. Let's go back to that. Let the states handle it themselves and let them figure it out.
Well, I think that's the more prevalent thing. It's about states' rights. It's not about
Sorry
it's
about
okay.
that.
It's not about overreach, not federal overreach, because I think when back in the 40s when this the tree lobby and the tobacco lobby, wrote this law that banned the use of marijuana here in the States, it was a political move to monopolize this industry. But now that people are waking up,
yes,
I think it's a good thing to see people waking up and see what the benefits of this plant is, not only medicinally, medically, but industrially. And it's going to be a new revolution. It's going to be a new industrial revolution along with marijuana and technology. But moving on to our final current event today. So did you know Harvey Weinstein is back in the news?
Oh, what did he do now? Or who did he do now?
Now there's allegations of sex trafficking.
Ooh, yeah. I heard the feds were possibly looking at maybe an indictment on him. They were doing some hardcore investigation on him.
Are we surprised?
No.
Are we surprised? I mean, all of a sudden, Harvey Weinstein, the Podestas. I hate to put on my tinfoil hat, but I'm going to do it briefly. Shall I say Pizzagate? Can we say that? Can we say Pizzagate?
Oh, yeah.
So we're saying Pizzagate.
Oh, yeah.
So, human trafficking, Harvey Weinstein, it's disgusting. But what political implications does this hold towards Clinton? What does this hold towards the Podestas? Because, they keep dropping left and right and all this, Russian collusion and now Harvey Weinstein. Clinton is not looking good. I don't think she's going to survive the winter. She might just have a mental breakdown.
Well, I think they just want her to go away. Whether or not she's indicted on anything, whether or not she's criminally held accountable, whether or not Bill is going to be criminally held accountable for anything. I think, the Democrats and those on the left, they just want her to go away. Don't go away mad, just go away. And you look at all these people falling, everybody and it's amazing how this avalanche started with Harvey Weinstein. Why didn't it start with Anthony Weiner? Because you knew they thought that they could just, you know what? Sometimes you got to crack an egg to make an omelet. Now, they're losing every egg in the hen house right now.
I don't think they're just losing eggs. They're losing chickens.
Ooh. That's going to raise the price of poultry there.
A little bit.
But it's funny, though, because, it's not funny, but tragically when you look at this, because what was Harvey doing? I mean, it didn't matter if these were teenage actresses he was trying to throw his game at or adults or whatever. And this was a guy who traveled around, buddied up with some of the most powerful people in the nation. It doesn't surprise me or anyone else if he's involved in some type of trafficking. Not in the least.
Awesome. Thanks for your thoughts on that. Now, Ed, we're moving on to the second segment of the show today. We're just going to kind of talk a little bit. I had yesterday on the podcast a new friend to the show. His name was Chris M., an entrepreneur, business coach out of Australia. One of the questions I want to ask you that I asked him, business-minded people have an amazing way to control messaging. And I asked him how, if you were his communications director, his press secretary, how would you control his messaging moving into 2018?
Now, his messaging as in Chris's messaging?
As in President Trump's messaging.
Oh, that's easy. Get off Twitter, man. Oh, no. I mean, the Twitter thing's funny, don't get me wrong, but at a certain point, it almost looks like you're setting yourself back when you do that. But honestly, you got to talk, and I think he's been doing a good job at this when he talks, when he makes his speeches, when he's out there on the stump. I mean, in a lot of ways, he kind of mirrors Obama. He does best when he's campaigning, when he's at rallies, because he has that unique ability that very few people have. Just talk to the people, and for some folks, it's simply having an avatar. You envision that you're talking to one person, and it makes it look like you're talking to everybody. And a lot of people get this feeling from Trump that, yeah, he's talking to me, the quote-unquote forgotten man. And I think if he stays on point, stays on message, keeps driving his message home without getting distracted with stupid stuff like LeVar Ball or Eminem or whoever else, then you know what? You just keep driving that home, and the people that supported you, they're going to keep supporting you, and you're going to gain momentum, and then you'll have something happen for your agenda rather than year one. No legislative battles have been won. That, you could have all the communication in the world, but if you're not winning anything, what was your point?
100% agree. Now, follow-up question to that. Who's going to be the candidate to outdo the media presence that Trump has gotten?
We haven't seen him yet. They're not on the horizon yet. I think if we do see that person, they'll pop up sometime next year, and I would say probably about this time next year, because they have to build momentum. They gotta make some gains, but I don't think it's anybody that we currently know now. I mean, people would speculate ideas about this person, that person, whatever. Democrats got an old bench. They got nothing new and fresh and hot coming up.
Do. Let's be honest about this. They have a heavy hitter that if she decides to run could clean house, and that's former First Lady Michelle Obama. I think that is the one person I am the most scared of running, because she's not old. She knows how to use social media. She definitely knows how to get on a meme. If she was to declare tomorrow, yeah, she would have to defend her husband's record. But the fact that she relates to more millennials is something that I don't know if the Trump machine can combat.
I got to disagree with you, because I don't think she has one thing she can run on. She's black. That's it. And I'll say the thing that nobody else will want to say. I'll say it because, this is a woman who said that for the first time in her life, she's proud to be an American. She's blamed white people for so many problems, and there are a number of quotes from her that can be attributed to that. She's simply going, if she makes any type of headway, it's not going to be because of any experience. It's not going to be because of any, what was the word they used back in the day, gravitas. It's going to be because of skin color. And she's going to get a nice, sizable chunk of people that are simply going to vote for her because they're going to play the race card. And I think the Trump machine can outdo that, but they have to do it in a way that's a lot smarter than what they've done, up to this point.
Okay, now let me throw this name at you. Another media mogul. What about the queen herself, Oprah Winfrey? What if she decides to start, tweeting saying she's going to be the next president in 2020? I know we don't have anything on her, but we didn't have anything on Donald Trump other than the birther crap before 2015.
Right.
To me, that's another credible threat.
The Oprah, would she be any different than Donald, other than she'd know how to control her mouth better?
I don't know. I don't know. I think the unknown is what's scary, right? Just like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Donald Trump in 2016 is he was unknown. Nobody knew if he was going to release his taxes. Nobody knew who was going to be on his cabinet. Nobody knew what his platform was until he released it, literally 3 weeks before the election.
But one of the things that, when you mention Oprah, one of the things that I think about is, this is somebody who couldn't possibly be fiscally liberal. She might be socially, but I honestly think with Oprah, you have a totally different other dynamic. Somebody who obviously connects with people, somebody who's very, very interactive, somebody that can bring a message across, and you don't rise from basically obscurity in Midtown Chicago to, one of the most wealthy people in the world and not have, business acumen. I mean, I think for someone like her, regardless if she has an R or a D on the back of her name, I can't help but see that would be good for the economy, because I don't see her running it as, Obama or Clinton or anyone else did, but she would see it more as a business model.
Yeah, I mean, it's just names to throw out there. Well, brother.
Right.
Brother, it's been so awesome having you on the podcast today. There's so many awesome things to look forward to as we close out the year. What is your most optimistic thing you're looking forward to in 2018?
Oh, man. That's a tough one, because it always starts with just waking up in the morning, because that's a new opportunity. That's a new opportunity to get your hustle on professionally, to keep working on the podcast, keep working on, working with people like yourself. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to, forging new relationships, and with the old relationships, just cultivating those and make those stronger. I mean, there's just so much out there, and I mean, this is just scratching the surface.
Awesome.
Now, what about you?
Well, I'm looking forward to seizing the opportunity. Seizing every opportunity that comes into 2018. And, like you said, forging relationships and growth. 2018 is looking great so far from the 2017 aspect. But we'll see what January brings, and we'll see what the Conservative Papi podcast can bring and become a heavy hitter here in 2018.
No, I think you will, man. Because I mean, like I said, I had a chance to first hear you out a short time ago, and you're doing some great work. And all I can tell you is keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're doing phenomenal.
Awesome, brother. Thank you again for coming on the podcast. It's always a pleasure to have you, the Caramel Conservative, on with the Conservative Papi. And, brother, thank you again. You enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, you do the same, brother. Take care. Bye.
All right, guys, that was Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative. Hopefully you guys liked what he brings to the table. You can catch him on Spreaker and iTunes at the TCC Podcast or the Caramel Conservative Podcast. Follow him on all forms of social media. Great podcast. Him and his wife do an amazing job out of Wisconsin. Well, Thomas, I think we have something to tell everybody today. Our partnership. We need to solidify this. How are we going to do this? What is the company called, and how do we officially make them partners of the podcast?
We are ProFlow AV, and we specialize in audio and visual, and we are the sponsor for this podcast, and we are the ones who are putting this on for you.
So you see, guys, Thomas is not just my friend for many years. He is now an official business partner of not the Caramel Conservative Podcast, but the Conservative Papi Podcast. ProFlow is an upstart here in Dallas, Texas, that we're hoping to do big things and grow alongside. So, ProFlow website, when will it be up, Thomas?
Hoping for an official website by February next year, but we do have a Facebook page if you want to find us there and contact us if you need live audio or lights or anything else like that. So. Well,
you heard it from the man himself, T-Light, as I nicknamed him. Lovely nickname, I love it. T-Light, the new rapper name, Thomas Lightfoot, out of the DFW. ProFlow. Him and Gavin Smee will hook you up with anything that you need as far as social media, visual, audio, all the above. Thank you guys for hooking us up here at the Conservative Papi Podcast. And with love, God bless you guys. We're out.